Hello, everyone. My name is KJ, and I'm the host of Great Talk and Entertainment Official Channel. And today's video is my thoughts and theories for episode 1 of season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, which is available now on Disney Plus and Hulu. So there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this video, but I just want to bring up some few things that this episode 1 for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again that has put out in this particular episode. And there's so many thoughts and ways and theories I can believe they can go with these certain characters, certain things that they mention in this. And so this is a lot of spoilers in this. So if you have not seen season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, please, please, please don't watch this. But if you had, stay and chill. So I'm gonna give you all a chance to think about and decide whether you were to hear my thoughts and theories that I believe that's gonna happen beyond this show, and I'll give you guys a chance, but before I do that, could you guys do one thing for me? Could you hit the like button, aka the thumbs up button? That would help my YouTube channel out so much, guys, and I truly appreciate that. So take a few seconds and think about it. So here we go. Think about it. All right, everybody. So in episode 1 for season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, we see this like BB report. And this is just a young woman who is the niece of this guy named Ben Urich. And I believe that's how you say the last name. And, obviously Fisk got him murdered for trying to expose him from the Netflix era. And I believe the season 1 of Daredevil Born Again, right? And it's a big deal because Fisk is, you know, controlling the narrative of his crimes. Obviously, he's a crime mob and he's, dealing weapons to other terrorists all over the world while blaming the superheroes, the vigilantes, right? And so the BB report in this, we see like people who are actually happy that Mayor Fisk is doing this. They're glad. They're saying he's getting the job done. He's keeping the streets clean. These vigilantes are not running wild, and he's already got like certain people locked up from this thing. Like, but then you also see like with the BB report too is the the expose where like people don't like Fisk. They like the superheroes. They like the Spider Man. They like the Daredevil. They like the Thors, the Lokis, you name it. They like them. They like them saving them from the evil bad guys, the super villains, right? So we see like this person who's dressing up as Kingpin is wearing like one of those masks that you get out of a Halloween store, right? And it's kind of like to a spoof that happened where these two TV stations in Chicago got hijacked, and it happened in November 22nd of 1987. And this caused a lot of conspiracy theories even like right now as we speak. There's conspiracy theories on that thing today, like as we speak. So it's a spoof to that and some other things, but they're exposing it. One thing too is like I think like Karen is helping BB because BB's trying to help them, and I don't think BB knows who Daredevil is underneath the mask, right? But she's helping, and one thing I loved about episode 1 of this is there's people who are trying to stop Mayor Fisk who don't have superpowers, right? They're protesting, they're trying to expose them, they're getting information and leaking on the internet. Like the BB report also had the footage when Daredevil hijacked the boat. So, they're really trying to expose it. while Mayor Fisk is changing the narrative and making him look like he's innocent and stuff. So we see a lot of that. But here's a theory that I have with the BB report because I think too with the Spider-Man movie and other Marvel projects that are coming out in the future. With New York, it's a little bit odd, and I know everybody's excited that there's some type of connection with Daredevil Born Again and the Punisher special and the Spider-Man movie that's coming out this year. And they have their obviously there's a famous news report, the Daily Bugle, which that's something you only see in the Spider-Man movies. So you don't really see that news report in the Daredevil series because of Sony, obviously. But my theory is since they probably can't, Marvel Studios, Disney, can't really use a lot of Sony's properties and other things that lets it has something to do with the Avengers and Spider-Man. The BB report can do the stuff that they would like to do with the Daily Bugle, but since with the Sony deal they really can't. So I have a theory that the BB report is probably going to show up and appear in season 2 of Wonder Man. And the reason why I think that because they did announce that they are doing a season 2 to Wonder Man, and with the relationship between Simon and Trevor, they're actors, they're celebrities now. The BB report and them could really do some cool stuff because obviously she doesn't have to be in the west side, the west coast, but they can see these videos going viral on the internet and they can play with that and use that to stop the bad guys that they're going to be dealing with over there in season 2 of Wonder Man. And I think that it's a big help because I also believe that the things that are going on that Mayor Fisk, Kingpin, is doing, and the fact that, Valentina from the Thunderbolts movie, it seems like those two are working together, and there is a special police force task force department in the Wonder Man series that is, arresting people who have mutant powers or superhero powers from getting a job in the Hollywood industry, in the movie industry, like being an actor or an actress. You know, they're not allowed to have that, right? And I could see her and Kingpin having huge connections with that, and to expose that they are having a team up with that, the BB report would be a perfect way to use that because again, when it comes to any Spider-Man properties that relates to Spider-Man, well, Sony's got the hook on that. So I didn't make the deal; they made the deal. So that's my theory with the BB report is that I believe that's going to show up in Wonder Man season 2 and of course I truly believe they're going to do another season of She-Hulk. I really do. That'd be crazy not to. I think that's a character that people are claiming that's not as popular or they're just sleeping on this character, but I think this is a character that could use this in a season 2 of She-Hulk is the BB report. So I can see that happening. So that's just one of my theories that I think that Marvel might go with it. And that's what I got out of it just watching episode 1 of Daredevil Born Again if you're connecting everything to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So now, the second theory that I have is Mr. Charles. Now, Mr. Charles is not his actual name, which that's played by Matthew Lillard. And obviously, if you're familiar from Scream, Five Nights at Freddy's, Scooby Doo, you know, you kind of get, you know what type of character he's famous for to play. And a lot of his characters have a lot of similarities from other franchise. If you're just spaced, not the Scooby Doo one, but just the scary stuff, right? And this character can be so many, but I believe that one theory is they showed in episode 1 that he has a ring. And they don't really go close to the ring, but they show it. The camera zooms in close enough, and they did it twice in episode 1. But they don't show like the design on the ring. And the theory I have is that that's a Hydra ring, which is, if you remember Hydra from the Captain America movies and stuff, with like Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson. I believe that they have come back the the MCU, and they're making a comeback. And maybe, as far as the movies of Marvel, maybe right now Kevin Feige has, and other people within that, have different plans for the next Marvel movies in the future for next year of 2027 and 2028, of course. That maybe Hydra is next story of being the bad guy, the villains, the evil group, is gonna just take place in the Disney Plus series. And I would love to see, because they did announce that they are working on a season 3 of Daredevil Born Again, and having Hydra in a Daredevil show, Born Again, and have Daredevil take on Hydra would be a really good idea and be a really interesting story. And I'm pretty sure, and I'm pretty sure there are comic books where Daredevil has taken on a Hydra member, even probably Red Skull, who knows? But I can imagine, and I wouldn't be surprised, not just to take a break from Kingpin being the main villain in a Daredevil series, not getting rid of him completely to his death, but maybe season 3 would be a different villain. And I think Hydra working with the Hand would be an interesting story. So that's why I think they're teasing that ring that Mr. Charles is working with. And I also have a theory that, too, another one, that Mr. Charles is I can't remember it, but I think the character's name is Mr. Fear. I can see his character being that character, and it would be interesting. Like, his whole thing is to scare you. He'd pretty much be the scarecrow of the MCU, if you're familiar with the DC comic villain Scarecrow. But he doesn't dress up like a scarecrow. It's more of like a crow, a mask of a crow. And I'm sure there's some cool ways and designs that they can come up with for that. But those are two things that I can see this character, Mr. Charles. Is he works for Hydra, or he's Mr. Fear, which I hope he would be Mr. Fear in that. That would be so cool. So that's just one theories that I have, because in that episode too, what I like is this guy, Mr. Charles, he he disrespected Vanessa, which is the wife of Mayor Fisk. And like, he's not backing down from Mayor Fisk. He didn't show no fear. And obviously, the Kingpin himself ain't backing down for no Mr. Charles, but they won't reveal his real name in episode 1. Maybe in episode 2 they reveal who Mr. Charles's real name is. But he just gives me that vibe, like he's gonna be a more important character. Now, if he's Mr. Fear, right, I can see Valentina helping create that outfit, that suit, and the stuff that he uses to use. It's like just a potion, just a chemical that he uses that like spray on you, and then you start fearing the thing you fear. And I can see that. And I can see Valentina creating that. And I wouldn't be surprised because this would be a character too that the Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers, could take on, you know. But who knows? Who knows? That's just a theory that I got out of it. But the way he's acting in episode one and the way they're presenting Mr. Charles, he's more of a bigger deal than we're really imagining. And for the actor that they got for him, he's such a big name and stuff. So I would imagine Kevin Feige would want to use him on a character that they can expand in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, like maybe in a Miss Marvel series, or maybe in another Captain America movie, or maybe in another Avengers movie. You know, there's so many ideas for a guy like him to play a character like that. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy not to try that. You know, there's so many. I mean, look, there's so many big Marvel names that they can do with Mister Fear. Like, I'm just saying. Now, let's. Here's another theory series too that I want to talk about. Bullseye. My theory is about Bullseye because he's the guy at the end of this episode of episode one of Daredevil Born Again. Bullseye saves Daredevil after the Mayor Fist's little task force took off his mask. He threw a bunch of knives at them and murdered them. And he said, and one he threw one more knife onto the ground, and it says, "You're welcome." Now, obviously, Daredevil is blind, but I'm sure once he gets his hand on it, he can feel the letters, because I'm sure Bullseye wants to make sure he knows who saved him. And my theory is too is that Bullseye is working for Valentina. I think he's gonna join the Thunderbolts, aka the new Avengers. I think that it's gonna upset the other members, but he's a character who should be not killed off in one season, but to be used in other Marvel projects. And Bullseye character is a perfect character for like the Thunderbolts to have to deal with at times, or even Sam Wilson's Captain America and stuff. So this character, honestly, you could put in other ways and do a slightly cleaner version, less bloodier. It would be the right terms, and you can still see the awesome parts of what makes that character so cool to see when he fights. Is anything he throws is a perfect throw. He always hits this target. And yeah, in a Thunderbolts movie, it may not be that bloody, but he could still throw some sharp knives at the characters, at the Thunderbolts, like Bucky, Yelena, Bob. You know, there's so many you can do. So it's a perfect idea theory that Bullseye is working with Valentina. And who wouldn't be it'd be an awesome story if she tries to recruit Daredevil into the new Avengers or the Thunderbolts, whatever name you would prefer. But that would be awesome too. So that's just a theory that I got out of episode one of season two. Now, here's a theory that I have about the Daredevil suit that we see. Now, in Daredevil season two, just based off of episode one, he's wearing the all black suit, which my favorite part in small details, if you freeze frame the scene when he's just holding the suit, You can tell he spray painted his red suit, right? But my theory is because I was watching, just rewatching the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer and just looking at Spider-Man's new suit, and it's kind of a mixture of Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's suit with the way Tom Holland's Spider-Man suit was in the MCU. It's like just a mixture of it, right? So my theory is that at least at the end of season two, Daredevil's gonna go back to the red suit, but I have a feeling it's gonna be more closer to the Daredevil outfit suit that Ben Affleck wore when he portrayed Daredevil in that Daredevil movie that Ben Affleck did. I think it's gonna be that. I think it's gonna be that type of like leather. It looks like a red leather type or latex leather. I don't even know what the right word is, but I think it's gonna be a same version as that, but just a more modern version of it, where it's a mixture between the Netflix, uh, and then the season 1 of Born Again and the one that Ben Affleck. I think that's what they're leading up to, because right now, the reason why I believe Daredevil is wearing an all black suit is because New York is in dark times right now, right? The villains are in the political office. There's no Avengers, right? Like, it's just everybody's gloomy, everybody's in trouble because they don't have an Avengers, they don't have an Iron Man right now. They definitely don't have, a Thor at the moment. They don't have Loki. They don't got the OG Avengers at the moment right now. And Sam Wilson, he's trying to figure out, what's been going. He's still figuring it out, and he's upset about the events that happened in the Thunderbolts movie. So right now, nobody has a an Avengers type thing to stop this. So the villains are really taking over, and Mayor Fisk is just that. So it's very gloomy. That's why he's wearing black. That's where I'm getting the impression of it. And so I believe by the time things up, the hero, Daredevil, the good guys will rise to the top. And it makes sense to call it Born Again. But I think at the end of this season two, he's gonna have an all red suit because I think they're gonna defeat the Kingpin and expose him, get him arrested, lock him up, right? And it's gonna be a happy ending in a Marvel show way. And I think that's where the colors are brighter and Daredevil is in an all red suit. But I bet you it's gonna be more inspired to the Ben Affleck Daredevil suit. So that's just my theory of why he's wearing a black suit right now. That's just me. And then I also have a theory, which is also like a prediction too. So we know that the Swordman is captured, right? And we know that Heather Glenn, aka Dr. Glenn, she's she's a little crazy, and I like it. I'm here for it. But I was wondering who's gonna break him out. Is it gonna be? We know that he's expecting to go to court, right? And we know there's a lawyer who is trying to talk to, I believe, Swordsman's lawyer or Kristen Duffy. I think if she's gonna represent him, like I can see that going that route. But if they couldn't get him out, and if the justice system fails Swordsman who's locked up for being a vigilante, I believe that if somebody was gonna break him out, that's not Punisher, that's not Daredevil, that's not Jessica Jones, that's not Luke Cage or Iron Fist. Who should get him out? And my theory is Kate Bishop from the Hawkeye series. I can see her doing that because I do believe, and I haven't. It's been a while since I watched the Hawkeye series. I think Swordman was dating or trying to date Kate Bishop's mother. I can't remember, but in theory, because that's where we got introduced to him in that show, I believe in theory that Kate Bishop's gonna break him out of that prison, that or jail cell, wherever they got Swordsman locked up at, thanks to Mayor Fisk. I think Kate Bishop's gonna bust him out, in my opinion. So, and then, and the reason why I can see that too is I feel like you know, th- I feel like too they're really still focusing on teasing the idea of having the young Avengers, which I believe in theory that they're going to be the new official Avenger members. Like this is going to be the official Avengers. But that's a different topic. But I think Kate Bishop showing up in this, and that's your connection to like Miss Marvel. That's your connection to She Hulk and some other characters. Like, but if Kate Bishop, in theory, is the one that breaks him out of jail, that would be sweet, and that makes sense. But I can also just for TV producing, just doing a court scene would probably much be easier because we don't know Haley Seinfeld's schedule. You know, she's a busy woman. She's a busy woman. She also plays Sparta Gwen, and she's done the movie Sinners, and she's probably got some other projects coming out this year and next year. So who knows? So it's probably going to be tough to get her if she's that busy. But again, him winning a court pleading of him being not guilty would be the TV like writer's way to write him to victory. But I would love to see Kate Bischoff break him out of jail. And then my last theory that I have is that Valentina and Vanessa Fisk are are working together. And I believe that they're controlling the hand slash Shadowland realm. I believe that those two are working together and they're gonna screw over Mayor Fisk so bad, like because I don't think Vanessa is loyal to her husband, and I think she likes the crime life, and I think she knows that she's much smarter, more clever, and more savage than Kingpin can ever be. And Valentina, those two would become good friends, good business partner, because she can rely on Vanessa to do stuff that Valentina can't do because she's under the microscope scope of politics, the media, and the world, thanks to what has happened in the Thunderbolts movies. So her and Vanessa teaming up, that is a wild theory, but I can totally see that. And there's so much things you can there's so many Marvel movies and series that those two can pop up at and show up, whether it's a post-credit scene, a mid-credit scene, or just an episode. But definitely that would be so awesome if these two teamed up. So that's what I'm thinking based off of episode one. These are just my theories. But what do you think about these theories? Do you like them? Do you like see episode one of Daredevil for season two? Let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much. please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Great Talk and Entertainment Official channel. Subscribe, hit that notification button so you get always the update with all my latest content. Thank you guys, and peace.